Cory, you ready for Sam Fisher? Because he's back with some Breakpoint.
Nomad. Glad you haven't gone soft since Bolivia.
Cory, you and I jumped into the latest DLC, episode 2 for Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and man, Sam Fisher is back, but is he really?
Well, you know what? I knew when I heard we were going to be playing the Deep State DLC. It's been a while since I played Breakpoint. You and Steve have been kind of sticking with it a little bit, and kind of still seeing the game how it's progressed through. And when I heard Sam Fisher, I was like, all right, you're going to be all over this, Splinter Cell. I was even excited. I'm like, this is a pretty cool integration, right? I mean, it makes sense for this game. So I was kind of hoping that when we got into it, that I was going to really enjoy myself. But I don't know if that's necessarily how I felt throughout this, especially being kind of a launch player coming back to this game. Quite a while since launch now, and others. Yeah. Honestly, Drew, there's still problems. I don't even want to really start talking about the DLC quite yet. I just want to say that there's still issues with this game, that being someone that's playing on an original Xbox One, there's some serious problems with this game when it comes to frame rates, just moving around. I had some big issues. I don't know about you.
Oh man, so I'm on the Xbox One X and I have issues galore, and we can do a whole video alone on the issues we have with Ghost Recon Breakpoint, because the game isn't finished. It's not polished. Honestly, half the time it's broken, which is unfortunate, right?
This game's got so much potential. That's why it hurts so much to see it in the state it's in, even now, so far after launch.
Well, they came with the Deep State DLC, and they've added Immersion mode, which I appreciate.
This was pretty cool, yeah.
The Immersion mode allows you to go in and fine-tune all your settings, completely overhaul everything, right? So I went in and I messed with absolutely everything. I even to the point where I upped my difficulty level, which is something I never do. I always play on normal, and that's the way I do it. This one, I bumped it up. I took out the map. I got no HUD. I've got bullet loss, right? So if I reload, whatever was left in that clip is now gone from my inventory.
That's huge.
Right?
That's actually that's something a lot of gamers don't think about, because I'm a Call of Duty player, and every time I'm done firing that gun, I reload almost every time. It's just reactionary. So with that setting on, makes playing this game that much more difficult. You just always have to be more aware of how many bullets you got left in that magazine. Is it worth to change out to a new magazine or not, right? So it's those things that they add to the game that are definitely make this one a little more enjoyable too, right? Because it does immerse you a little more in this kind of lone wolf scenario that you're in.
So Sam Fisher is back. Sam Fisher was in Wildlands, and they brought him back again. At this point, don't bring Sam back. Just give me a Splinter Cell game, because I think that would be better than experience him here, because this is more of a tease. He starts off, you got to go find Sam, and you find Sam, which then leads you to go find other people that will help you take down the strategist. But at the same time, when you get to these people, they go, yeah, I will help you, but now I want this favor, and I want that. You got to do this. And it's just one of those fetch stories, right?
On and on, yeah.
I kind of feel like the story of Sam Fisher's experience is like a roller coaster, because one minute you're up and it's so cool, and then the next minute it goes right back down to the bottom, and it feels like you're just crushing into the ground because it's not that good. It just takes that way, and it's so back and forth on this. Cory, how do you feel about the story, man?
Well, you know what? Because, like I said, it's been a while since I played Breakpoint, so I kind of had to get my bearings with the entire game before even kind of jumping into the DLC. There is kind of an intro mission before you even need to purchase the DLC that lets you play with, you rendezvous with Sam Fisher, and he sets you up for the whole Chapter 2 scenario. So I thought that was pretty cool. Gives everybody a little bit of a taste of what they're in for that particular DLC. So if you don't own the DLC or the Season's Pass, you have to purchase it. It's $25, which isn't, it isn't cheap, I don't think, for what you get. Overall, this is actually anywhere from an 8 to 20 hour playthrough. Actually, I've looked up a few and to see what everybody's playthroughs have been, and that's kind of roughly, you can take as much time. This game's very, you can discover lots of different things and examine tons of stuff, so you can take plenty of time playing this. But
I'm about 20 hours myself for this.
Yeah, overall $25 is still quite a bit when we're talking about what we're really getting here. And my thought with the story was, okay, cool. Sam Fisher's a great character. I think everybody loves Sam Fisher. He looks cool, sounds cool, everything about him is pretty cool. But the only problem is you barely see him other than when you talk to him over comms or the few cutscenes that you have throughout this DLC. And it was kind of just like, I don't know. It would have been way cooler to maybe just be right alongside him the whole time while you were going through clearing areas. Most of the time you'd split off for the missions and go do your separate things and only talk over comms. So I don't know, like it just, it's a Sam Fisher DLC, but again, like you said at the intro, how much Sam Fisher's really in this DLC? It kind of almost feels like a bit of a ripoff.
He's not really there. He's there at the beginning, he's there right at the end, and even at the end he's like, okay, thanks, see ya. Right? Like,
it's like it's just, I don't know, like, how is that enjoyable? You know what I mean? Even just talking about it like this, let alone, it's hard to sell that DLC by saying, you know, the whole reason you're selling the DLC, Sam Fisher's involved. He's barely involved overall. So, I mean, I don't know. It wasn't terrible. I'm not saying this was the worst experience I've ever had by any stretch, but at the same time, it wasn't really that good. And for $25, I don't know if I would say the value's there for this.
It was okay. So I want to dive in a little deeper to so some aspects of the story I thought really felt Sam Fisher like and Splinter Cell esque, and then other parts of the story. Like, for one instance, you have to go find, not even really find, you just go get this woman's daughter, who's just a whiny little brat that you help out. She looks like a troll from the Trolls movie. Like, it's just ridiculous. She looks awful.
Hair,
the characters don't look wonderful. They're just blocky looking characters. They're not polished. And some of these missions are just, they almost feel like side missions, not a true flushed out mission. And then you get to like the last level, man, you're at nighttime, the rain's coming down, and there's the glisten along some of this metal platforms that you're on, and you're picking off people and you're sniping. I'm like, this feels like that Sam Fisher Splinter Cell experience. But in a Sam Fisher DLC, I only had that experience maybe 2-3 times. And while I'm in this game, one mission is I have to go get this guy, and I sneak into the house. I'm always stealthy. That's how I play all my games, most of my games, and especially being a Sam Fisher story. So I'm on the lower level. The bad guy, is above me with his flashlight, and his flashlight shines through the floor he's on and onto my floor. I was like, come on. And this is the constant stuff you deal with in Breakpoint, and it is game breaking. It is awful. And to have that, and then you go to your bivouac and you get your loadout. And I found myself actually now using some of those resources that you gather as you're out, so I can replenish my stems, my syringes and stuff to kind of help my health and things like that, right? Because when you step up your difficulty, it really, it takes a toll on you. So you need to have that replenished there. So I found that was good. But again, back and forth, this whole Sam Fisher thing, it just wasn't quite the story I was hoping for to see out of a Sam Fisher DLC. I wanted to be beside Sam, working with Sam.
Oh, I look forward to future updates.
So the very last mission, I have to go find the spot we need to go to, okay? And now it tells me to go to the middle of the map. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm in the middle of the map. I'm on one side of this mountain, and I'm working towards where I think I need to go, okay? I'm not there, but I'm making my way to it. So it comes up, and then all of a sudden it says, you're there. Here's your next step within the mission. And I'm like, I'm nowhere near this thing. I'm not, like, I am 1,000 meters away from my objective. Not even close to the objective, and it triggered my objective on the opposite side of the mountain. So I've got to go up the mountain still and then make it to the objective, but yet it's still triggered when I'm way back there. And I'm like, this is the experience of the entire Breakpoint Ghost Recon game, which is just man, honestly, coming off of Wildlands and seeing when we jumped into the beta of Breakpoint, thinking, okay, if they can polish this up and fix a lot of this stuff, we're in for one hell of a game.
We were all hyped for it.
It just didn't pan out. Honestly, it hasn't panned out. It's still not fixed. It's still buggy and janky, and there's so many problems. And then the Sam Fisher DLC Deep State storyline is just kind of, it was cool in premise. It had some great moments, but it's just more like a hot mess still.
Yeah, it's to me, it didn't have the substance that you wanted from this Sam Fisher, you know, what you would expect for Sam Fisher. So I don't know, I think we probably should maybe score this, Drew, if we're going to score the DLC. We can only probably talk about it so much more before we give away everything about it. But if you do have to score this, Drew, what are you going to do?
It kind of breaks my heart to do this, but with the amount of bugs we're still experiencing in Breakpoint, is really just breaking the game. Sam Fisher's story had some highs, but it has a lot of lows still, because it's not that full Splinter Cell Sam Fisher experience. It's more just talking to him on the comms. And for him to jump in for 30 seconds at the beginning and 30 seconds at the end, I'm there with a 4.5.
And you know what? I hear you with that, Drew. 4.5 is a totally fair score for this. Like I said, this is a $25 expansion if you don't own the Seasons Pass, which, I mean, if you do own the Seasons Pass, you may be upset that you bought that as well. But at the same time, it's cool that Sam Fisher's in this game. It's cool that you get a skin, so there's kind of the plus side there. But overall, the story just wasn't there for me, and this game still has way too many problems. I'm giving it a 3 out of 10.
There you go.
So, what brings the mighty Sam Fisher to Aurora?
I'm after someone called the Strategist. He's been kidnapping military specialists all over the world.
Breakpoint had many issues at launch, and unfortunately many of those issues remain. Having Sam Fisher in the game is great, but your interaction with him is limited, and the overall story was kind of weak. It's going to be hard to get the value out of this $25 DLC.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos.
Wonderland requires vision. May I present Project Claw?